Welcome to the Remote Control Podcast, where we push the limits of the mind and uncover the hidden history of psychic intelligence, from ancient oracles who challenged kings to Cold War spies buried in secrecy. We dive into remote viewing, anomalous cognition, Project Stargate, missing aircraft, Soviet time mirrors, Mars sessions, and mysteries like Tunguska. This isn't science fiction, but documented files and first-hand accounts from programs that tried to weaponize the mind.
Okay, let's dive in. We are looking at what might be one of the greatest intelligence operations in ancient history.
It really is. It's an effort by the richest man in the world to figure out if the gods were, a reliable source of intel.
And we're talking about King Croesus of Lydia. His wealth wasn't just big, it was, well, legendary.
Totally. His capital, Sardis, was on the Pactolus River, and this river literally flowed with gold. So Croesus has everything. Piles of gold, armies, power.
But he's got this problem. Our sources call it the poverty of certainty.
I love that phrase.
Me too. It's that feeling, you have all the power in the world, but you have no idea what to do next.
He really needed to know what to do next because there was this existential threat just looming on his border.
Cyrus the Great of Persia.
Yeah. And you have to imagine Cyrus not as just another king, but as a slow-motion landslide.
That's a great way to put it.
He was just swallowing up these huge ancient kingdoms, media, Babylon, one after the other, and Lydia was next on the list.
So Croesus has to make a move, but he's a man of logic, a man of trade and ledger books.
He's not a gambler. He despises leaving things to chance.
Exactly. So he looks at the oracles, the supposed mouthpieces of the gods, and he thinks they're either frauds or they're just too vague to be useful.
Right. He needed intelligence, verifiable intelligence, not some poem he could misinterpret. His thinking was almost modern.
How so?
Well, he thought, if I build a road, I have my engineers check the stones, right?
Sure.
I hire a general, I want to see his battle record. So why should the gods get a free pass? Why not audit them?
So that's the mission. That's our deep dive today, his masterpiece of operational security, designed to test the limits of ancient prophecy with cold, hard facts.
The rigor of the test is what's just so brilliant. He wasn't looking for a comforting fortune cookie saying. He wanted proof.
Okay, so let's get into the protocol. How do you even begin to audit the divine?
Well, first you lock down the human element, the weak link.
The spies.
The spies, the traitors, the people who could be bribed. So he takes his most trusted envoys. Men whose loyalty was absolute.
And he had a way to guarantee that loyalty, right?
Oh, yeah. Their families lived in the palace, basically hostages. A bit grim, but it meant they couldn't be bought.
So he's got his secure messengers. Where does he send them?
Not to just one place. That would be a single point of failure. He sends them in pairs to 7 of the greatest oracles in the Greek world.
Places like Bai, Dodona.
Right. And his chief advisor, a man named Gelon, he gets the hardest journey of all, the road to Delphi.
And the timing on this was incredibly strict.
Incredibly. It was a synchronized operation across hundreds of miles. He tells them to travel for exactly 100 days.
Not 99, not 101.
Exactly 100. And on that 100th day, at the very moment the sun is at its highest point, high noon, they are to walk into the sanctuary.
The coordination is just, wow. In a world without clocks.
They had to be masters of navigation and timing.
And the question they were all told to ask.
It was an intelligence trap, a perfect one, identical for all 7 envoys. What is King Croesus, son of Aliades, doing at this very moment?
Not what will he do, but what is he doing right now?
Exactly. It forces them to prove they can see a verifiable fact in the present hundreds of miles away. It eliminates all guesswork about the future.
But the real genius, the real obsec, was what Croesus himself did.
Oh, absolutely. Because he had to do something that no one could ever guess.
Right. A spy might guess he's, counting his gold.
Or holding court. Or hunting. The usual king stuff.
So for 99 days, he's the king. He does all the king stuff. But as day 100 gets closer, he becomes, as the source says, a ghost in his own palace.
He dismisses everyone, his guards, his servants. He locks himself in. No human eye could possibly see or predict what he was about to do.
So we get to the morning of the 100th day. What happens?
He strips off his identity, all the symbols of power, the heavy gold chains.
And the purple robes? The Tyrian purple.
Which you have to remember, that dye was insanely expensive. It screamed emperor.
So he takes all that off. And he walks, alone, into the huge, empty palace kitchens.
The richest man on earth, about to do manual labor. It's just a fantastic image.
And the ingredients he picks out, they're deliberately ridiculous.
Completely. He wanted a combination that was so bizarre, so unthinkable, that no one could just guess it.
So he takes a lamb.
The meat of a feast, a noble animal.
And he pairs it with a tortoise.
A hard-shelled tortoise, a creature from the mud, the lowest of the low.
It's a culinary abomination. The sources say no recipe in the known world combined them.
He takes a cleaver, cracks the shell. You can just imagine that sound echoing in the stone room. He misses this coarse, swampy reptile meat with the delicate lamb.
He's performing an act of anti-kingship. But he needs more than just weird ingredients for the test. He needs specifics.
Yes. So he doesn't use a normal cooking pot.
What does he use?
A huge ceremonial bronze cauldron, and for a lid, not a normal lid, he uses another slab of beaten bronze.
So it's bronze on bronze.
Exactly. This is the key identifier. It's not just a specific look. It creates a specific sound.
A unique acoustic signature.
Yeah. When that water starts to boil, the metal on metal vibrating and bubbling, it's a sound that's completely unique.
So he's created this impossible event. No one saw him. The ingredients are absurd. The pot is specific. The sound is unique.
He's achieved total unpredictability, and he stands there in the silence listening to it bubble, and he whispers, "I am the king of Lydia, and I am cooking a turtle stew."
Okay, so while that's happening, let's jump across the sea. We go into Delphi.
To the navel of the world, on Mount Parnassus, the center of religious power.
And Gelon, the envoy, he arrives right on time.
He walks into the temple of Apollo. The air is thick, with smoke from burning barley and laurel leaves.
And he sees the Pythia, the oracle herself.
She's on her tripod over this fissure in the earth, inhaling these sweet, probably hallucinogenic vapors.
Gelon is ready. He's about to step forward and ask the question.
But he doesn't get the chance. The high priest just raises a hand, silences him before he even says a word.
So he never asks the question.
Never. The Pythia's head just snaps up, her eyes roll back, and she starts to speak. Unsolicited.
And it's not just regular speech.
No, it's poetry. Perfect, rhythmic, dactylic hexameter, the language of the gods.
And what does she say first?
First, she establishes her credentials, her reach. She says, "I know the number of the sand and the measure of the sea. I understand a dumb man and hear him who does not speak."
Basically, I see and hear everything.
Everything. And then she leans forward and cuts right to the chase, right to that impossible truth in Sardis.
What does she say?
She says, "There has come to my mind the smell of a hard-shelled tortoise, boiling and bubbling with lamb's flesh in a bronze pot. The cauldron underneath it is of bronze, and bronze is the lid."
Wow.
Every single detail.
The tortoise, the lamb, the bronze pot, and the bronze lid.
The whole impossible package. Gelon is just stunned. They hand him the scroll with the words on it, seal it, and send him on his way.
So weeks later, all the envoys are back in Sardis. Croesus is on his throne, still the skeptic.
He starts reading the scrolls from the other 6 oracles.
And they're all what he expected.
Yeah,
right?
they're just guesses based on probability. Amphiara's says, "The king is counting his gold."
A good guess for a rich king.
Dodona says, "The king is hunting the great stag." Another good guess. He just tosses them in the fire. They saw the crown, not the man.
But then Gelon steps forward. He hands over the sealed scroll from Delphi.
Croesus breaks the seal. He reads the opening lines about the sand and the sea, probably thinking it's just, poetic fluff.
But then he keeps reading.
And he hits the line, "The smell of a hard-shelled tortoise."
And that's the moment.
That's the moment. The source says his skepticism, that armor he'd worn for decades, just shattered like brittle glass.
You can probably smell it all over again.
He reads on and he sees the final proof. The description of the bronze cauldron and the bronze lid, it's irrefutable.
He must have just been floored.
Yeah. He says, they saw. They actually saw.
And his reaction is immediate.
Oh, completely. He sends these enormous gifts back to Delphi. Pure gold ingots, silver bowls, statues. He's a believer now. He thinks he's done it. He's found a source of absolute truth.
But that success is so dangerous.
It's intoxicating. He walks over to his window and he's looking east, toward Persia, toward Cyrus, and he has this new confidence.
A dangerous confidence.
Because his logic seems simple, but it's fatally flawed. He thinks if they can see a tortoise in a pot from across the sea,
then they can see the outcome of the war.
He proved they could see, so he just assumed they could advise.
And this brings us right to the takeaway. He succeeded in his deep dive. He verified the Oracle of Delphi had a genuine non-human capability.
But in doing that, he threw away the very skepticism that made him so successful. He traded it for blind faith.
Faith and his own ability to understand what the Oracle was telling him.
And that leads to the really cruel twist of the story, the follow-up. He asks his big strategic question, should I attack Cyrus?
And the prophecy he gets back is also, technically, 100% accurate.
It is. The Pythia tells him, if you cross the river Halys, you will destroy a great empire.
And he hears what he wants to hear.
Of course. He crosses the river, attacks Cyrus, and is completely defeated. He destroys a great empire, all right?
His own.
His own. He tested the source and found it true, but then he just stopped questioning his own assumptions about the meaning.
So when you're looking for deep intelligence, whether it's from an ancient oracle or, a modern data stream, it raises this question for you to think about.
Is it harder to verify that your source is telling the truth? Or is it harder to verify that you are capable of correctly interpreting that truth?
Croesus mastered the first part. He proved the oracle site was real.
But by failing to interpret the second prophecy correctly, he showed that the greatest certainty, well, sometimes it's the most dangerous kind of poverty after all.